Peace, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm gonna give everybody a hot minute and then I'll get into today's topic.
Yo, can you hear me? Hello? 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 I'm here. I guess I'm waiting for Brother Jay. I heard him initially, but I guess he stepped away. Peace, everybody. How you doing? I'm not hosting. I'm just co-hosting. I called in to back him up, so I'm want to hear what the topic is or explanation of the title. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I
Hey.
accidentally made a mistake. I had my laptop on mute, so I was wondering why ain't Hala speaking, but I had my computer on mute. So I'm here.
Oh, okay. How you doing, bro? How you doing?
All right, I'm back. Yeah,
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. How was your misgivings?
Uh, it was pretty good. I got to relax. I got to chill. That's the important thing before
Yeah.
I have a busy upcoming week.
Yeah, that's true. Hope everybody enjoyed their family and friends and had some good food.
Make sure you brought up nationhood if you could. It ain't never too late.
Yeah, that's an interesting family discussion. Angus Black, what's up, bro? Baruti, what's up? NDR, what's up? Got the gang. So what we talking about today?
Well, today's topic is if you read, I put in the title, it says, "Why can't the black community get it together?" That's what today's topic is. Why can't the black community get itself together in America?
Why can't they just act right? Why can't they just do what they supposed to do? Good question.
Well, I would answer that by asking another simple question. How can the community get it together when we don't control the environment in which we live in?
Hmm. Wow. You starting to sound like me. What's going on? That's the point I've been making. But it just, you know what's really annoying? Like I was listening to Judge Joe Brown was on a live stream, a podcast, whatever you call it. And for the average mouth breather, Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown is an intellectual.
He's not.
It's like, and I hear this type of one-dimensional thinking all the time. If Judge Joe Brown is an intellectual, and I guess Kevin Samuels is like a guru, he's like the Yoda of black intellectualism to these people. So it's like they're so one-dimensional in the way that they think, and people think that they just dropping it, like they kicking knowledge and dropping facts, and they just one-dimensional thinkers. They don't have any nuance, any layers to their thought. It's like everything is just black and white. And the reason why black people is the way they are, because I guess we just came out of the womb that way. We came out of our mother's womb as a dysfunctional people. It's nothing to do with socioeconomic and political context. Nothing to do with that. If I came up with a mother and a father and a functional environment, how come the person that didn't come up the same way I did is not acting right? Gee, I guess this is like one of those Rubik's cubes that we'll never figure out.
Oh my.
How come a person whose mother raised them in a whorehouse doesn't act the same as me? Anybody who knows where that's coming from, Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor was literally raised in a whorehouse. Don't you think that that kind of affects your outlook on the world?
Oh, definitely.
How you view male female relationships? Don't you think that has something to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy to go, pull your pants up. That's the highbrow intellectualism we have in the black community. Pull your pants up. Act right. That's how you do it. That type of in-depth analysis is the reason why we're doing so great as a collective right now in this country. For real, these people idolize these people. These people call in and they like, oh my God, Judge Joe Brown. It's like, oh God, you're just so intelligent. Can I please eat some of the crumbs falling from your table of knowledge?
To me, it's not even real. Like we don't have real honest debates, and the people that should be debating don't get the proper coverage that they deserve. Obviously, that just shows the anti-intellectual topic, an anti-intellectual culture that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But just the way that we teach critical thinking and the way that we teach debate is just off. We think debate is just talking two different people with different point of views and we just go at it, not understanding that there's a structure that goes into debating. It's not just two people with opposing opinions. It's a structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I'm doing regular debate, because I do debate at my school sometimes, and I competed in debate earlier. One of the things that we had to do was it was different because I had to organize things. I had to have it structured. So, what is your warrant? What is your evidence? What is your solvency? What is your topic of discussion? What is your position? All of that stuff is laid out in the debate. And that's sort of the similar thing when we talk about the intellectuals in our community, the black community as a whole, is we don't understand that everything has a structure to it, or in order for a system to work in its best way, it's got to have structure.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just put something together and then think it's going to work. And before I let you speak on it, this happened a basic experiment I was doing in in university. We had a project, a lab, and it dealt with concrete mixing. So we had to mix cement, water, and fine aggregate and coarse aggregate, which I'm not going to get into is just civil, but you get the point. We were supposed to just mix it. We were to come up with whatever formula would work. So we just mixed stuff, right? And then the next time we went to the lab, we had specific numbers. So we're supposed to put this much amount of cement, this much amount of water, this much amount of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. When you just mix the regular, the one that we did just mixing, ours didn't ours didn't hold up strong enough. It collapsed only with like 500 pounds psi or something like that. That's what happened, right? Versus when it was structured, it was much stronger. And I bring up that specific case of the lab in that when something is structured, it's able to last longer and it's able to endure versus a situation where you just put something together and think it's going to last. It's not going to last because there's no structure to it. There's no design to it. There's no process to it.
Correct. But see, and I think that that's ultimately like what you said in the beginning, anti-intellectualism. You know, And it would be one thing if it was pure anti-intellectualism, but it's really not. It's like they say there's an anti-intellectualism, but they do consider certain people to be intellectuals,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird. It's like if you're going to just reject intellectualism, period, then at least that would be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But you reject intellectualism and then you prop up people as intellectuals who are complete mouth breathing morons or
Mm-hmm.
one dimensional thinkers.
And to go to your point about anti-intellectual and one-dimensional thinkers, there's a reason why there's a reason why people don't like scientists and people don't like engineers. And the reason why people don't like them, people say, "Oh, well, scientists think they know better. We think we're above." When we say we're the experts, we're not saying that we are omnipotent or supreme. What we're saying is that when we are experts in these fields, experts in civil engineering, experts in physics, quantum physics, chemistry, biology, we have not only knowledge, but we've done research.
Mhm.
We've done actual studies on this. We know how the process works. We know how everything is structured. If I'm telling you, uh, as somebody who's an expert, let's say in physics or civil engineering, because those are the two. I major in civil engineering and I minor in physics, right? Being an expert would be okay. When I'm designing a building, where am I putting it at? Okay, what is the site like? What's the soil conditions like? What's the compressive strength? What's the shear strength? What equipment do I need? How much is it going to cost? What software do I use? That's thinking multifaceted. It's structured. It's not one dimensional thinking. Yes, the goal is to build the house, or the goal is to build whatever structure. But being an expert and being intellectual means I'm able to do research, and not just do research as in just go look it up. What I mean by research, you're using primary sources, secondary sources. You're able to distinct between fact and opinion. You're able to understand what type of research, what type of information to look for, charts, graphs, methodology. All of this stuff comes into a factor, and just we don't have that. We don't have it. So when you wonder why we can't come together as a community, it's because you're not bringing in what I just brought earlier. When you're looking to get something together, the first thing that I'm looking for is what is the goal. Then once I know the goal, and in particular a smart goal, then I can go and say, okay, what are the smaller steps that I need to do to succeed? Meaning, what skills do I need to amass? What type of people do I need to amass? What type of hierarchy or structure do I need to amass so that everything is free flowing and consistent? What type of schedule do I need to have? What type of events do I need to hold? Who do I need to connect with? All of that stuff comes together.
You want to feel that question?
He says, even better, why don't black people want their own? Why live in someone else's system? Because black people feel the system is theirs. That is true to a certain degree, but also we were having this discussion in the chat, and I was watching coincidentally something last night. It was talking about a North Korea defector. So it was a video about how North Korea was one of the most, you know, hardest countries to escape. So then I go and I look up one example of a North Korean defector. And she talks about how when she defected from North Korea, that she didn't understand the concept of freedom, she didn't understand the concept of romance, she didn't understand the concept of love. She didn't understand none of that. She just defected to China because she thought if she went there, she could get a bowl of rice. And then she thought freedom would be able to just watch TV and not get caught by the government. That's an example, or just an example of not similar, but let's apply that similar way to black people. If I don't know what it's like to have my own, then I'm not going to want to pursue it because I've never been in that situation. If I've never been free or I've never understood the concept of self determination and independence, then how can I possibly advocate for it? I don't even know what independence even means or what
Hmm.
that is like. It's like me being 22. Because I'm 22, I wasn't born in the 1990s or the 1980s or the 1970s. So I have no recollection on what life was like there. So therefore, I can't possibly dreamt up something about that period because I don't know what that's like. I can't tell you. I would have to read about it. I would have to ask people who would do it, but I can't truly pers- pursue it or give you in depth about it because that wasn't the era that I grew up in. I have no recollection. And it's a similar way when we talk about having our
Having our
own.
own. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
mute you,
mute you,
Deontay, for a
Deontay, for a
second.
second.
Sure, go ahead.
Make sure you get
Make
that
sure you get that
echo out.
echo out.
Yeah, I'm good.
But yeah, it's just if I don't know, how can I advocate? That's simply the natural the situation is. Once you get a taste of independence, once you get a taste and you understand a little conception of it, then I'm able to advocate for it because I have a taste of it. I know a little bit of what it would be like. But if we ain't even had a taste of independence, there's no way they're gonna even think about it. It's not gonna cross their mind.
Yeah, it's like what I said. We do a lot of complaining about what people are not doing. Like this, we not doing this, we not doing that. And then what I've always find interesting, and this has been for years, people will then use as examples nationalist groups. Don't you? Do you find that happens often? Like
Mm-hmm.
they'll say they on one hand they say, "Oh, you guys are nationalists, always talking about this and this, black, black, black. Why don't you be like the Chinese?" I'm like, "What? Like, why don't you act like the Jews?" I'm like, "What? Do you not hear what you're saying?" So you're going to use as an example nationalist groups to explain how we shouldn't be nationalists. That's like I said, intellectualism is not our strong point in collectively.
Mm-hmm. And not understanding and breaking things down. When you say, well, why don't we do like these communities? Understand that context matters, background matters, all of that stuff matters. It's not just vague, oh, look at this community, look at that community. Okay. You have to understand, even if I look at other immigrant groups, one is that they don't deal with anti blackness or Afrophobia. They don't deal with Afrophobia. And I'm going to start using the word Afrophobia because that's what it is. It's against African people, against Africa and the diaspora. When you have a country that's Afrophobic, like the US, and American society being Afrophobic in general, yes, immigrants come over here and they do better for a multitude of reasons. One, they are immigrants. Okay. So they just got here. You have to factor in that. One, people say, two, people say the immigrant work ethic. You could say that, but that that that's used to say why Black Americans can't get far ahead. When the reality of it is that the system was not structured to be hostile towards non-African immigrants or non-African people. It wasn't structured that way. Even when we looked at Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad, what they were saying about other communities is That was decades ago, and we're still talking about it. So, not
I
understanding that this stuff has been systematic and not looking at the Afrophobia, I think, is a huge problem because you're talking about groups that don't have the same background, don't have the same history. Yes, they may have faced discrimination. Yes, that's accurate. But at the end of the day, there is a racial hierarchy in America. And Afrophobia is the top of it. And black people, African people are at the bottom.
Let me give an example of using what you were talking about with the North Korean defector, but just in a different context. Let's say you have a black family and a white family, and well, I say a black couple and a white couple, and the white couple has a child, and the black couple has a child, but the context and the culture in that white family is okay. Once the child is born, it's like we're off to the races. Like if you were to look at it from the timeline, the races just starting when you're born, right? But this child knows, and the parents know that you're going to become an adult. So we got to prepare for your adulthood. And then even when you become an adult, you have to spend the majority of that working adult life preparing for your retirement. Now compare that to a black kid that's raised by black parents and they don't teach them none of that shit. It's just go get a job and be happy. Don't you think that the way outcomes are going to come out are going to be dramatically different? Don't you think that the moves that that person makes throughout their life is going to be different? And what is that based on? The context in which they grew up in. Most people don't think about retirement when they work. When you're 20 years old, you're not thinking about, oh, let me get my 401k and my stock options and this and all that. There's no sense of urgency about your retirement. Unless you come from a situation or you come from people where they can drill that into you and say, hey, you got to prepare for this and that. If you have somebody bending your ear, but the average person, when you're in the prime of your life, you're not thinking about, um, let me amass as much money as I can so that when I retire, I'll be able to live comfortably. Nobody's thinking about that shit. So it's the same thing. It's like, how can you do what you don't know? How can you make certain moves that make sense when you don't even know the full context of what you're even dealing with? And a properly functional culture would take care of that, but we don't have that. It's like it just amazes to me like how black folks talk about being American and talk about power and talk about this and talk about that, but don't do it in practice. Like in hip hop, they love talking about the mob, but they don't act like the mob. They love talking about the mafia and John Gotti and this and that, but they don't arrange their crime the same way that the mafia does. It's just interesting to me. It's like we worship this stuff and we say we respect it, but we don't put it into our lives and practice the things that we say that we respect so much.
I mean, because the first thing that you have to do is you have to understand, you have to know what that looks like. Once I know what it looks like, I'm able to navigate, I'm able to strive for it because I know what it looks like. It's similar to a job, a college grad like me. When I go into the workforce, I know some good stuff about civil engineering, but I'm not an expert. I haven't been doing this for 20 years. I haven't been in the workforce. I don't know what it looks like. Once I've done a project and I know what it looks like in a project. I have the general conception. And now I'm able to actually act like it. Actually able to do it because I know what it looks like. Okay, I know. This is how you do a project. This is how much it's gonna cost. This is these are the steps. I know what it looks like, so I can do it. If you don't know what it looks like, You're going based off of what you perceive or what you think, not what you actually know. You think this is how the mafia is like, or the mob or whatever, and that's not actually how they are.
Hmm. You see Barudi's point?
Yep. Holland's critique about being anti-intellectual abounding in the black community is well noted. This phenomenon cripples us. Mzungu has been successful in domination because of being wicked but wise. And Ronan said black people are told verbatim by flawed, antiquated thinking leadership that embracing misery and destruction is noble and heroic. Hmm. And also exposure to history. If I don't know the struggle or don't know the history of the Back to Africa movement or Black nationalism, also known as African American nationalism, then how am I going to think that's a solution?
Right.
I've never been exposed to that history. He says black peeps are against LIN. Got black peeps content with the idea that punching a brick wall with your bare hands is productive, which is effing insanity. It is. And like I said, when you're not taught the full of black history and the different ideologies, you get stuck on the integrationist ideology. Because that was me. Like I said, that was me. I was the one who thought the nation within a nation was the answer. I thought, and Holland, we've talked about this before. We've all been in that situation where we thought the nation within a nation was the answer.
Hmm.
But then as we started looking at things logically and also holistically, as well as understanding the history of the Back to Africa movement and Black nationalism, it makes sense to come to that conclusion because we've been exposed to it. So now we know that what we're talking about is not new and it's not crazy. It's something that has been spoken about for centuries. It's been advocated by numerous leaders. So now I don't feel like what I'm saying is something that is beyond the scope. It's something that has been advocated for centuries and has been done.
Right. I just want to welcome Latasha Johnson
What's up, Latasha?
from
Hi.
Milwaukee
Hello, everyone. Hi.
in the
I'm
house.
just chiming in. I actually just got off the phone, so I'm still listening, guys. So carry on, please, so I can
Okay.
understand what's going on.
Yeah, just the basic gist we're having is why can't the black community get it together in America? That's what
Mm.
the gist of today's video is. And one of the questions that I started at the beginning was how can a community get it together when they don't control the environment in which they live in?
Hmm.
That was the question that was response to this to the why
Yeah,
black people.
and they're
Yeah.
absolutely right. And they're absolutely right. We don't control the environment we live in. If all you live near is fucking crime and fucking downtrodden, then how and you're not in control of nothing. Then how are you ever going to build yourself up? And then for the few black people that do build anything of note, they move out the neighborhood and they go to the white neighborhoods. They take all the resources with them. So you leave everybody else there stranded.
Hmm.
So
And
that go
it
ahead.
was something that I said earlier. If you don't know how it looks, how are you going to how are you going to create it if I don't know how it looks like or I can't imagine how it looks like? If I want to build a building, but I've never had any concept or understanding of what it looks like to build a building, how am I going to build that building? I need to know the steps. I need to be able to look at it. I need to be able to emulate or be able to see how it's done. So then I'm able to say, okay, I know what it takes to build a building. I've seen it. I know how it looks. I know the process. I can move forward. I'll let you have the floor.
But Rudy asks, is the intellect associated with established black leadership just hype, Are they given props for being heavy, but in many cases are lightweight?
Okay, guys, there's a very bad echo to everything you guys are saying.
Yes, Deontay's. Deontay, you might be, if you're listening to the audio on your computer, you're going to have to mute that out because it's going to create
Yeah,
feedback.
I'm not either. I'm just strictly on here.
When
I'm
you
not even my
talk,
computer, my
when you
phone. I'm
talk,
using
I
my
don't
phone.
hear it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
when you talk, I don't hear it, but when we talk, we hear it.
All right, let me just mute my mic and see if that helps. Y'all go ahead.
Mhm. You gonna say something, Latasha?
No, no, I'm still listening. I'm still
Okay.
listening.
Yeah, what do you think about that
Processing, but I'm still
question,
listening.
Jabari? Or Deontay, if you want to talk, because we don't hear the echo when you talk, Deontay. If you want to
Yeah, I'm about
answer
to
that
say we'll
question.
let you.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it. I don't know what it is. Not really a tech specialist, but it's just I don't really know what else to say. We know what the problem is and we know what the solution is, but there's no real push to achieving that goal. I feel like only the people in the BAIO are the only ones who are actually doing anything about it, like long term.
Hmm.
So that's a problem. Anytime in the world where you living in a country where you getting black people that are being kidnapped and we're finding their organs and shit being harvested, where cops are brutalizing you every day, and there's nothing really being done about that. There's no real solution from your so-called leaders. You don't control the social, economic, or political reality in your country. That's a problem. In the
Hmm.
country you living in, that's a problem.
What do you think with Baruti's question about the intellectual lightweight,
Um,
like
Give me
Judge
the
Joe
one.
Brown?
Yeah, they all these clowns, these black talking heads. We all know they paid stooges. Most of the people that like that are doing any kind of talking, if you notice, their criticisms of the black community outweigh their contributions to it. And these people are paid off. Judge Joe Brown is a millionaire from his job. These people, these people, they profit off of black struggle. Judge Joe Brown makes his living imprisoning fucking black people. So anything he has to say, he's a product of a fucking system. Anything he has to say, I would just tune it out. These dudes are clowns. Who cares? That's how I look at that. They're giving props as these people because unfortunately they're on national platforms. Fox 5, NBC, MSNBC, they on national platforms. They have the loudest speakerphone, so they're going to get that kind of attention.
Hmm.
So there's nothing you can really do. But I would just not listen to them because that's where
Yeah,
we are.
I,
I
I,
agree.
if I may say, um,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of things start with the family and, your friends, your closest, the people around you. You know, the support there has to be stronger than the masses because everything, from the beginning of time has started with the family unit. Um, because I see a lot of people, once you start something big, you have some friends that will support you. You have some family that will support you. Some people don't have neither of those, and they have more people that are just out there supporting them, Facebook friends, social media, that will support them more than their family and friends will.
Hmm.
So I think that a lot of times we need to start with making our family and friends understand the support that we need from them to push forward into something bigger and bigger and bigger. Because I may have my own tribe of friends, tribe of family, associates, but so do Mark, so does everyone on the panel. You all have the same, people around you. Getting them to understand the purpose and the importance of what we're trying to do or what you're trying to do, to me, is, golden. Because once you start there, trying to reach the masses, you won't have to try to reach the masses because it'll trickle down to all of that. But trying to get the masses to understand something, people go with fads. They go with famous faces. They go with entertainment, people that are promoting things. So if you don't have that behind you, then it has to start with the family and friends and the people you're surrounded with, and then go from there, and then continue to build from there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
I want to
agree. Go ahead,
Yeah, I
Jamal.
want to add to Latasha's point in that getting the masses that shouldn't even at first it shouldn't be the major goal because like she said, it's fads, it's trends. The masses will follow people
Hmm.
who have a vision and people who are getting tangible results.
Right.
It really takes a small core group of people
Yeah.
to make significant change. But we can't get it together in the community because, with the exception of the BIO, nobody has a vision. What is your vision? If I were to talk to any Judge Joe Brown, Tariq Nasheed, if I were to ask these people, okay, what is your vision and what are the steps you're going to take for this to happen? Most of the time you will just get something vague, something abstract, and something that contradicts, that completely, it doesn't make any sense. And that's because they don't have a vision. If I were to ask you in 50 years, what do you want to see in the black community? And I'm talking about unemployment, income, businesses, poverty, all of that. They won't, they can't tell you because they don't have that plan. They don't have that vision. And it's
Mhm.
hard for the black community to get it together because if I don't have a vision, what am I doing? If I don't have a vision, how can I contribute anything? If I give you a vision and you see people contributing, then what it does is it allows for the masses to say, well, I can contribute something. I can then contribute, some time, maybe to marketing with this organization or reaching out to people, going door to door. I can then partake in, maybe since I'm good at political science and I've done at a consulting firm, consulting with African politicians or consulting with community leaders. But it starts with that vision and understanding that once you give people a vision and you give them a purpose, we can get it together because we all know what we're there for.
Right. I
Hmm.
just want to say something about the family because I've made this point about the family for years. Um, Family is important, um, but the thing I think people have to realize is that the family doesn't exist in a vacuum. The family is a product of their socioeconomic and political environment. So the quality of families that we produce will depend on the socioeconomic and political context those families exist in.
Hmm.
So it all goes back to what we keep saying: land, infrastructure, nationhood is the solution. Because when we control the land, we control the infrastructure, and it's our nation, the quality of families we produce will be much, much, much better than what we're producing in this American context. So at the end of the day, land, infrastructure, nationhood is the solution. It's not even an arguable point. So when you think of the fact that collectively in our culture we're still either having the discussion about whether we should have our own or not having it at all, it just goes to show you how far behind the eight ball we are collectively as a people. We're not even having, like everybody says, oh, I'm tired of talking. We haven't even started talking yet. Like people say, oh, there's too much talking. No, we haven't started talking yet because you don't know what talking actually is. You think talking is opening up your mouth and vibrations coming out. That's not talking. If we're going to talk about having a future, there's a specific dialogue that needs to happen, and it's not happening except in our circle. It's happening right now as we talk, but I think that's the important thing. The family does not exist in a vacuum, and that's what Judge somebody needs to tell Judge Joe Brown.
I also want to say that when we think about families, let's even understand the context and reality of what family means. Family doesn't just have to be, your
But
biological family. It can be your close friends. It can
mhm.
be your teammates. All of that can constitute family. But
Right.
even then, we don't have that mindset of when a group of black people succeed, that they are my family, or when I succeed, they are my family, and we need to help each other. It's always I made it out, so why can't you? It's always a crab, or some people say the crabs in a barrel, but even some people say that's problematic. But just this idea of I get there, pull the ladder up, and then you guys should be able to find another ladder and pull yourself up. And it's like, no, if we say we are a community, we are families, and therefore we need to treat each other like families. Everybody needs to have each other's back. Everybody needs to look
Yeah.
out for each other,
Right.
not just my immediate family. It should, like the cases with black children going missing, it
Hmm.
should be black communities making sure that we're looking out for these kids. That if my child is gone and I can't find them, that I can trust somebody in my community who I see as my family is going to see, okay, my child is missing. My child is somewhere, and they can find them, or if they find them, they can take care of them.
Right. That
Yeah,
that
that's
that
absolutely correct.
that ideal is lost because we're not looking at it like that. And I think people are not understanding just exactly what you're saying about, the unit of us, moving forward has to be that close. It has to be that important to each person. When it's not important to everybody, then you got people that are sometimes supporting you, sometimes, listening to your vision, sometimes they're hearing what you have to say, sometimes they're giving their time to it, sometimes they're doing it. But when they understand, the importance of that, yeah, you got a stronger community and you got people that are going to build from there. But I don't think that people understand the importance of what you guys are talking about now any more than they understand, what the BAIO is about. They don't, some people just don't get it. They want to be a part of it, but they don't really get what you're saying. Nationhood, the things that you were talking about, do people really understand those words, what it really means to them, and how it's going to affect their future generations? Do they understand that? I don't believe they do.
I believe you're right. They don't. I just want to give some shine to some people that's commented in the chat room. Eric Swade says they have a vision, their vision to be sitting around the table with white folks being in control. I agree with you.
Mm. Wow.
Um, Flames 2.0 says, I think black Americans just want to end racism. There's their vision is just like MLK's I have a dream vision. They just want racial harmony.
Mm.
Um, Gloria Miller says, are you going to blame white people for this too? Rwanda genocide, 100 days of slaughter in just 100 days in 1994. About 800,000 people were slaughtered in Rwanda by ethnic Hutu extremists. Um, and she also says, black mothers are not being strapped to the table for forced abortions. They do it freely with their eyes open, but let's concentrate on rap music. Um,
Yeah.
Aruba says, Holla Benjabari, here's a question. Would you say that AD, ADDI? Is he trying to say ADOS?
Yeah, that might be a typo.
Okay.
I've done that once or twice. He means
Ha-
ADOS.
has a vision for black diaspora linkage with Africa, but BAIO has a specific vision for U.S. black uplift. Can the two be parallel power conduits? Oh, here we go with the the multiple paths thing. I'm gonna leave that alone because we got into that last time. I don't understand the point that Gloria was making. Maybe she can clarify because
Yeah,
Rwanda picked themselves up from that genocide, and they doing way better than we are.
Yeah, and
So I don't know how that's an example of anything.
I'm on the opinion of what Flame said. That's honestly what my opinion was when she said that. I'm really thinking is that
Or a troll.
yeah.
Well, I'll give her a chance. Maybe she's not. You know, I don't want to be presumptuous, but I'm just saying I don't understand that example because
Yeah, like
Rwanda
Yeah,
why
and
did
it's
that? Yeah,
irrelevant. And
why
it's
did that?
irrelevant.
Yeah, I was about to say exactly why did that come up in the conversation? That's
yeah,
no there's no need for that.
Rwanda, if anything, lets you know how you can turn that shit around in a short period of time. We're
Right.
still
Is
working on year 500.
right. Isn't that where you guys went, Mark?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful place.
yeah. Nobody chopped us up with machetes. You
And
know.
and also to and to talk to address to your point about people not understanding the responsibility. One of the things that I find crazy was they said that a lot of Gen Z are lonely, a lot of middle-aged men are lonely, and men in general are lonely. And I find that really interesting because for me, I'm an extrovert person. And so I like to talk to people. I like talking to people. I like connecting with people. Just having dinner, social events. I just love being around people. It's just my preference. But in a society where we think so much individualism that it's about me, 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 and just what can I get out of it, and not understanding that the value can be just being with people. Like one of the reasons why I love working and I love things kind of like working with people. I just want to just be around you. That's just um the reality of it. I just like being around people. But in our society, we don't value social relationships. Just it's good to have social relationship because you value people and you care about them. It is what can I get out from you? What is there that I can get out of you?
Hey, quick question. Go ahead and block Gloria. She's not doing.
Yeah, I
I'm
was about
reading
to
the
say that.
fucking comments. Yeah, but that
But
this is
we
getting
got
out of hand.
moderators. Hey, do what you do, man.
Yeah, because I don't
Because
think
first
she's
of all,
really.
nobody brought up race.
Yeah.
Gloria introduced race and white people into the discussion where we weren't even talking about white. Nobody said white people at any point in this live stream. It's amazing how people just inject their BS into a conversation when it has nothing to do with that.
And now you see why you can't. What's the name of the topic of the show?
Yeah, exactly.
This is why distractions.
Yeah, you want
The,
to come in and
the enemy
introduce
is
something,
busy.
right?
Our mothers used to say, the enemy is busy. This is why we cannot go any further.
No, but Rudy, I don't need to reread it. I read it the first time. I'm just letting somebody else handle it because I this whole multiple parallel thing I'm just annoyed with, and I've expressed why I'm annoyed with it the last live stream. So I don't want to resurrect that conversation again.
I'll
What
address
do
it
you
real
feel
quick.
about it?
I'll address it real quick. To We should use that to help build our nation, but to say that's for U.S. Black uplift, not necessarily, because when we talk about nation building, that could be advantage for us because we know it's going to directly benefit us. If you're talking about US Black uplift, unless we know for a fact there's a particular Black organization that's going to facilitate it, it's going to get directly into white hands. And then also the structure of the US economy has not changed. You can't, one of the things that has to happen that, and this goes back to getting it together in structure, you have to understand structure of an economy. There are so many people who say invest in black businesses, invest in this and this and this and that. As long as we invest in black businesses, we'll be able to lift ourselves out of poverty. No, it's the structure of how everything is. If you don't understand the structure, then everything else is pointless. Because how can black business, even if you invest in black businesses, how are you going to invest in black businesses when you got Jeff Bezos worth 200 billion, Amazon's worth a trillion, Apple's worth a trillion, you got these multi-billion, centi-billionaire companies that you're competing against, and you're not changing the structure.
Yeah.
You're not breaking up the monopolies. So it's not really, it can't be a parallel conduit because the structure of the US economy has not changed. And you're putting a lot of investment into something that might not yield the results that we want. Versus if you were to do it in Liberia, invest all that money in Liberia, that money can help us build our country, but we can also build up the neighboring countries next to us and build influence. So that's why I don't think that's the best way. And that's the I think everybody can agree on. You can't, it's like what Hollis has said numerous times before about we're mad that somebody's an addict, but we're surrounding them with the substance. Yo, who is this troll? My God, these trolls be, oh my God. But y'all go ahead.
How everybody doing?
Yo, what's up?
It's crazy how the energy changes off of one thing. One person can change the energy and the direction of, your conversation, your focus. This person is trying to change the direction of your focus.
Well,
Happens all the time in life.
part of me for coming in late, man. I had a training session right at 12 p.m. Eastern. I really wanted to be here for the beginning, so I wasn't regurgitating stuff.
No,
But
that's cool.
that video that Big Bro has shared, when he was like, "Man, this is a good kind of some good topics of conversation on here." It was really a good video. It was refreshing to see because we understand that we get caught in the algorithms of our confirmation bias. So I know most of the videos in my YouTube are my like feeds are like sports figures that I like, and and it's either some Black Power stuff or some Black BS stuff, and it's like so you don't get messages from contrary to what you already believe a lot, and you don't see people's other platforms speaking onto stuff that you believe in. And it's not the first time I've seen Judge Joe Brown on something. I was like, yeah, man, brother, making some sense. But it was the callers in particular and the guest speakers. I was like, man, I really like what they talking about, right? And for me, from what I observed, all of it, even to what Lil Bro Bari was just speaking about the black business and everything else, it all really stems from a lack of organization on black leadership and black communities in general. Because and it's also something they brought out some I had on the forum with you actually, and you was talking about, you was saying, well, why would black people not sell out, and not sell out in terms of like just going against black people, but why would black people stir the pot, sit up there and talk all this black nationalism stuff and everything when it doesn't benefit them at all in America? No one says, "Come on, we need you at my job talking that black shit." Or, "Come on, we want to give you this business loan so you can start a like at all." And that's because we as black people do not have a platform. We do not have a space where you can just be black, black, blackity black, love black, and everybody is on board with you. Everybody is supporting you. You getting whatever grants you need for your program. You getting whatever microphone you need to spread it to the masses, because black is forever under attack here, and that's just period. So if we're not creating systems, whether it's in this and I could say in this place, because this is where it starts for a lot of people, but we don't have a system here to where you could be a black star athlete and say something against America or against some Jewish people or something like that, and not have to apologize in 5 minutes. You know, we don't have a platform where we could express ourselves freely and not have to worry about, well, I can't say that or else I might lose my job at ESPN. You
Right.
know, I can't say that or else I might lose my job at Fox News. Even if at the bottom of our core, we really, 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 really want to be about it. But then we got to think about our family, our job, our social status. And that's just the reality of it. Everybody not just crazy and just super bold. Some people really have a conscience that's let's just say soft. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way because everybody will talk big until somebody got them a $200,000 check that they're gonna take from.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for me to say it. I don't get paid millions of dollars. I don't have to report to no job where I have to shuck and jive either. But still, right? Like so I'm not trying to bad talk anybody. But the fact remains that we don't have a system. We don't have a system that says, no, y'all gonna stop saying nigga on these rap songs. Y'all gonna stop saying that y'all killing black people and fuck black women on these songs. No, but guess who does? Say something about Jews in a song right now. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. And that's just the reality of it. Until we create our own systems, and that points to leadership, because they're not gonna sit up there and say, yeah, Moja, you talking some good stuff. Let's give you a system. Yeah, BAIO, y'all no. We need to be talking to the black folks in Congress. We need to be talking to all these organizations, these national organizations for black people and all this stuff, and putting their feet to the fire. That's who we need to be talking to. It's not our job, y'all. Like what we doing here at the BAIO is literally one of the highest acts of service that you can do, and that's straight up. That's straight up,
Umoja.
and that's what's up.
Umoja, what you said, because I really wanted to get to your point about
Go ahead. Sorry.
because no, because you just what you were saying is just is just reiterating what I said about the importance of structure when you're talking about black people who really want to be about it, but they can't because they're afraid of losing their jobs. What you were saying is exactly the point about structure and the context. How can I, as a black person, really be about it if I'm put in a system where if I do say it, I'm going to get punished? It
Yep.
disincentivizes me to speak out
Yep.
because I know there's going to be a backlash. On the
Yep.
other hand, if I'm in a country like Liberia, I can say whatever I want and do whatever I want because I know my government backs me and my government supports me. So I know I'm in a structure, in a system to where I can be able to say how I truly feel. It's the same way when I'm at an
Exactly.
HBCU and I'm speaking to other black students. I can be blunt and honest because this is a black space. Now, whether or not they hold some areas of anti-blackness, that's a whole another separate topic. But I'm able to say what I want to say because I'm surrounded by black students and this is a black space. So I have the incentive now to be honest and not have to shuck and jive. Whereas if I'm in an all white area, I have to shuck and jive because I may be depromoted, I may be fired, I
Well,
may face racial
and
microaggressions.
and then
Go
listen
ahead,
to me, no
Emoja.
more. No, 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 no. We're literally both saying the same thing. I just wanted to add to your point. The worst part about it is that if you do stick up for your people, if you do lose your job, if you do get fired, if you do suffer some kind of consequences, it's very rare that the community will then pick you up and say, "No, this brother just lost his job for us. No, he just went and did this for us. So we need to. We don't need no GoFundMe account. Let's go to this brother's doorstep and drop him off a few thousand to keep his family abode until he get another job. We don't even support, man. These people will go and kill us, and then have a GoFundMe with millions of dollars in it in 13 hours.
Yo,
You know what I'm talking about?
Umoja,
Go ahead.
just
Sorry.
to back you up on that, the reason why, if you notice, the mafia guys aren't afraid to go to jail because they know when they get to jail, the mafia runs the jail.
Immediately.
So they don't have this fear of getting locked up. I mean, they would rather be free, but they know that if they go and they get locked up, they ain't gonna have the same existence as all the other inmates are.
Yeah.
And they get their family and stuff taken care of while they're locked
All
in.
of it. All of it, man. And we just have this gross lack lack of love for one another. And it's so interesting because we say it so much, black love, black pride, we need to stick together, we need to, but in reality, in real time, our behaviors say that we really don't give a damn.
Right.
That's what our behaviors say. I don't care what we say. What we say. We all know that. Don't do as I do. Right? People gonna do what you do. I don't care what you say. I can say I love you, I love you, I love you. But if every time you walk in the house I'm going upside your head, I got some fucked up love. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like straight up. And we just and really at the end of it though, at the end of it all, we don't believe in each other.
Yeah,
We don't
because we
believe
don't
in each
believe in
other.
ourselves.
We don't.
Because that's
We
just an
don't.
extension of ourselves, how we feel about us.
And
You
as
ain't
I'm
gonna believe in your people if you don't even believe in you.
and as I'm saying this, y'all, see, I want the people listening who maybe not a part of BAIO. Y'all hearing we're not here with these pipe dreams because I know when we just say land infrastructure nationhood and Liberia, everybody be like, oh no, we're not under some misconception that this is going to be easy. We're not under a misconception that this is something that's highly supported. Straight up, we know that it's a rough ride, and that's why I was saying that this is one of the most sincerest acts of service. Us sitting up here trying to brainstorm and find something for our people. That's some real stuff because this stuff is not easy, man. It's not, and we fight a hard fight.
Yeah,
Shit,
I
talk
wanna I
about
wanna
fighting.
I wanna say something about power. Just to
My
back up
favorite.
the points that's been made. I don't know if y'all have ever listened to um certain music within white culture that the young people play. It is so anti what it's like anti-family, it's violent, is they cursing their mother, their father. But the funny part about it is why doesn't that stuff affect their culture overall? Because they have balance. For every one of those songs that come out where they're disrespectful or whatever, you got Oscar winning movies. You know what I'm saying? You got there's a balance. Because I'm not one of these people that want like that want to paint this picture that black folks will only do positive things. We will only talk about positivity. No, I'm down with what DMX said. DMX said that there should be a song to reflect every emotion that you are feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if you want to talk about if you angry because your girl cheated on you, you want to make a song blasting her out. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is there's no balance. If all you're getting is negative, 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 and there's nothing to balance that out, that's what the problem is. It's not so much the content. It's that that's the only thing you're hearing. There's no different voices. There's no different takes on things. No nuance. Everything is the same goddamn thing. Like I said, one-dimensional thinking. And I just wanted to, touch on that.
You're absolutely right, and that's an example in Hollywood, where in Hollywood, the 65% of gang portrayals are black, but black gang members only make up 30% of all gangs. We don't make up the majority of gang members, but when Hollywood portrays gang members, it's overwhelmingly black.
Because
And
who controls Hollywood?
Exactly.
exactly.
Back to the power. Back to the power.
So you can paint that's why they call it his story, right? That's what they say in the conscious community. History is his story. The person who won gets to tell what the history is.
And I want to circle to something that I don't know that y'all touched on yet, but when I think about the people who like really want to fight so hard in America, so hard because they believe that this is theirs, and when you think about in light of the fact that not only do we have an entire continent that's ours, but we actually have a country in that continent, like Liberia, that is legit ours. And when I think of fighting, like fighting against a corrupt government, fighting against a corrupt system, I would I would feel like I'm much more effective doing that in a place that's actually mine. Like I would rather go against or try to improve the government that's ran by my people than to sit up there and keep running into a wall fighting the government that's clearly not for me. That's like clearly though. Like on the most simple level, it's not for black people. And everybody knows it, except when we say that we need to stop fighting here and go abroad, we're called like we're running and we're doing something wrong and it's something that's ineffective. And I
Yeah,
just
they
want people to
won't.
think about that.
They won't even pass policies that would help out their own white people.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think they're going to do something for black folks?
And to
Eh,
add to your point, Emoja, I'm sorry for interrupting, Hala.
No, go ahead.
Remember, me and Hala constantly keep bringing that famous Filipino quote because that quote just sums up what Umoja just said. We've said that quote so many times that everybody needs to know that quote.
I think a
That is,
lot of I think a lot of people really don't understand how good it feels to be around just nothing but black folks. I don't think a lot of people have experienced that. You know what I mean? And when they have, it's probably been in like dilapidated neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like really hard, rough neighborhoods. So it's like I don't want to be around a bunch of niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's their only experience. And then other people are so comfortable around non-black people. Literally, the thought of being around black people either don't even cross their mind or they don't see the benefit of it. And I just, yeah, that's some
and
stuff that I
and
can't,
that comes
I
to
don't get.
and that comes to nurturing, because I can attest to that personally right now. Is one of the main reasons why I said I want to go study abroad, or I mean I want to go work abroad, right? Or like to South Africa, Liberia, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, because in high school I was in a majority black space. In college, I'm in a majority black space. I went to go study abroad in South Africa, so I'm in a majority black space. So now I'm accustomed to being in a majority black space, that all of a sudden having to go into literally being the only black person is so uncomfortable, because I'm so used to being in the majority that now being the minority is really uncomfortable. And my social circle is almost exclusively black. Mostly, yeah, but exclusively black. Mostly black women, but exclusively, but as most almost exclusively black. Maybe one or two white people or non-black people. So I'm not accustomed to now realizing that I have to now connect and make friends in a majority space where the majority of the people don't look like me. And now the way that I navigate has to completely change, because, and this is something that Africans and African Americans have tensions, and Africans have even admitted. When we come over to America, it's a shock to us because we're no longer the majority. When you're born and raised in Africa, you're in the majority. So you see yourself as the default. I'm just a person. I don't see race. They know they're black and they know they're African, but you it doesn't hit you well because you're in a culture and an environment where you're the majority, where almost everybody's you. So you don't have to consciously think black love, black people. You just say people. You just say love. You just say family. And I'll let somebody else speak. I made my case.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Um, what, okay, if a person joins the BAIO, what are they joining to do? Just so that I can get an understanding. Me joining means that I do what?
I can answer that. So simply what it just means is you joining means you support the concepts and you want to contribute, and you can contribute in multiple ways. And I've made this point. It's decentralized. We're not going to give you commands. It's not like you do this, you do that, you do that. If you are in your community, you can pass out the videos. We're considering doing some other things, but when you join, that's what you're signing up for. And we're eventually getting to the point of roles. Hollop can expand on this, but just that's what it is.
Let me
Okay.
let me touch on it before big bro do. It's good to see you too, sis. Hey,
Me too.
I, instead of answering the question in a direct way, I'm gonna give my experience with the
Hmm.
BIO so the people
Okay.
could kind of get a
Right.
get a feel for it. Now I'm a person who, came into consciousness and wanted to know about everything black from Imhotep to Marcus Garvey and everything in between, literally Nation of Islam, everything that had to do about black, but particularly black power, right, and black history. And
Hmm.
I was in organizations. I was in a national organization where it was, roles and everything else. Nothing happened. I was in several local community organizations. Started one with the local community and talking about all the things. How we gonna do changes? Let's try to come up with a school, like all the things, right?
Right.
Everything pretty much stale, same stuff, reheated.
Hmm.
And I was looking around and I was like, all right, a lot of these people full of stuff, for lack of a better term. A lot of these people just want to be seen, want to be leaders. What they call them, Mactivists, men and women who want to be in the limelight so they can get all the men and women type stuff. And I was like, all right, this is a bunch of bullshit, basically. So then I come across the BAIO and these brothers and sisters talking about Africa and building something for our own. I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do and where I want to be. So I come here, never, literally never been asked for a dime, a
Hmm.
nickel. There is no, y'all, we need the money, we need the member fee. I mean, literally ever. It's going on three years now. I think, I can't even remember, but
Hmm.
could be more. And when I first came, they was talking about going to Rwanda. I've never heard nobody mention going to Rwanda in my life. They
Hmm.
talking about going to Rwanda. I'm doing my research. I'm like, damn, Rwanda is doing great. I love, because I heard of Paul.
Right.
I heard him speak, the president speak, Paul Kagame, and I was like, these brothers and sisters is really doing it. Like a few months into the organization, they was already going. I ain't even have my passport. This
Hmm.
is this is how well the leadership that I was under was doing. I ain't never even had a damn passport. But
Okay.
so I'm like, cool.
Right.
They like doing something. And then we just talking, figuring out how we gonna do it, seeing that our numbers is low. And then all of a sudden, Bari started talking about Liberia, talking about, man, this is actually our land. We already have something. We start researching that. Liberia
Hmm.
is the spot. So now we have a place. Instead of
Hmm.
wondering, because we was just wondering, we was like, all right, we need to visit all these countries to see who we could best negotiate land for. That was the plan,
Hmm.
right? That was the
Okay.
plan. So now we got Liberia. Now a bunch of us are going to Liberia in May of
Okay.
2022.
Hmm.
So as you can see, even without there being like quote unquote leadership or
Hmm.
somebody saying left, right, what's
Yeah.
happening is happening organically, and we're building up to where we need to be. I'm thinking, this is just me talking. I'm
Hmm.
thinking, guessing, and hoping that after this Liberia trip, things are gonna really pop off to where we like, okay, this is exactly what we need to do. This is who we need to be doing this, and this is what we need to be doing here. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I know I went on a little diatribe
No,
for
I
little
asked
bit,
the
but
question
that's
because a
that's
lot of
kind of
people.
how BIO has worked since I've been here.
Hmm.
And as you can see, though, there's progress, even without there being, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that. Because that I know that once roles come around, and once stuff like scary money
Uh-oh, you breaking up.
start coming out, people want to see who really running stuff and everything else. There's never been no dissension like that at BIO. It's been
Right.
one big quote unquote issue, and it wasn't really that big, really.
Hmm.
But yeah. So I would say get on board and come to Liberia with us, and we can, and things are gonna get. I think that it's gonna get a little different after that. But again, that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah,
Somebody else
and
could.
like you said, we've had connections with significant figures. I mean, it's not like when they went to Rwanda, they just went and they just toured. They had somebody of high significance guiding them, and we've had discussions with numerous community associations, many community leaders. So it's not just like we're just here rambling on social media. We've had interviews with Liberian YouTubers. We've been on Liberian channels. So that's what people are signing up for. And like I said, we're not like this give people roles because just give. I don't want you people to feel like they are machines. We want you to feel like you're an active part. And so if there's something that you want to initiate, that you want to start, that you feel can build, we want to encourage you to do that. As long as it deals with land infrastructure nationhood and trying to build, we like to be more decentralized. We don't like to just give orders. We would like to give roles, but we're not. We just don't. We're not autocratic. We're not going to lay the hammer on you. And that's what I love about us. Everybody is very, open for it. Everybody's very,
Mhm.
you know,
Okay, so if and when I join the BAIO, I am there to bring other people in to travel, and go and check out other countries, in order to do what exactly? Because you're going to Liberia to talk about the land or buying land, or I'm you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to get an
yeah.
understanding of, okay, when I get into the BAIO, I'm there to do what? And if I decide to go there, I'm going to Liberia or Rwanda or wherever, the direction is going. What am I going there to do? And how can I contribute to that?
I would say before emoji gets in, I would say what is your specialty in? Because once we know your specialty, we can sort of like put you into something. That's would be the thing. Would first of all know what's your specialty, which is one of the things Hollop can
Okay.
attest to when we do the BIO. When you
Hmm.
sign up and you register, we ask you specifically what is your career, what are your interests, what are this and all that, so that we can start putting you in different groups.
Okay.
So we that's the very first thing. We would need to know your specialty, and then once we know your specialty, then
Hmm.
we can start. I tell you, then you can start going and contributing because we know what your specialty is, and we can find you with similar other people. So example
Let
would
me.
be okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just you was already getting there, but anything that you know how to do
Hmm.
is useful on the continent. I think
Okay.
we have to understand, like a lot of people will say stuff like if you think about the luxuries and the amenities that first world country living gives you,
Hmm.
and it don't have to be anything big. You can be really good at braiding hair. You don't
Hmm.
think that they might need something like that over on the continent? You can be a really good baker. You don't think they
Hmm.
need that on the continent? Like it don't have to be anything crazy. You can be a really good gym teacher.
Hmm.
Like literally, you could teach PE at a middle school. You don't think
Hmm.
that that's needed on the continent? Like we need everything. Nothing
Right.
is too big or too small. The idea is that we need people. We need the people. We don't need to go to Liberia and meet, because when we go, we're trying to meet with everything from grassroots organizers to politicians.
Okay.
We gonna survey the land. We gonna do recon, right? We gonna
Hmm.
we gonna sit up there and we're gonna have fun, right? But we want to go
Hmm.
and see, just go and see. And then when we do have the ear of people with power, we want to be able to say, yeah, we got 200 people who are ready to travel back and forth from Liberia to America once or twice a year. Then we got uh 100 medical people. We got another 20 engineers. Then we
Hmm.
got 30 teachers. Are you following me? So we
Okay.
have a system that's just ready to go be inserted. Like we don't need to worry about buying land, and the land is there. That's like
Okay.
figured out. That's like figured out. There's lots of land to be. The land that's already there is underdeveloped in terms of roads and highways stuff like that. Then there's land that's not even touched. Like that's not the issue. The issue is being the issue is having the enough people to be recognized as being reputable and not just being like, oh yeah, it's 10 Americans who think that they're going to change Africa.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the power is in numbers in this case, literally, like very literally, the power is in numbers.
Okay.
And I follow the KISS theory, the keep it simple, stupid theory.
Hmm.
Excellent
For
theory.
for me, I don't want us to take for granted that nationhood is just a given. That land infrastructure nationhood as a solution is just a given, because it's not.
Hmm.
So to me, joining the BIO shows that you believe in the concept of land infrastructure and nationhood as a solution to our collective problems here in America.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing to me. It's like everybody that joins, that means that they believe in that concept. Now, once they get into the group, then
Evie,
what
you don't look
Jabari
ready.
is saying and what Umoja says applies, because
Hmm.
what do? What's your specialty?
Right.
And then we can start. The more people to join, the more people, like let's say we have a bunch of people join and we have like, let's say 10, 20 lawyers.
Hmm.
From that 10, 20 lawyers, we can set up our legal department in the BAIO.
Okay.
You have 10, 20 accountants. From those 10, 20 accountants, we can set up our accounting department in the BAIO. We can
Okay.
set up our IT department.
Hmm.
So it's like the group is going to organize depending upon how many people are going to be coming into it, how many people are interested in it, and how many people are going to give their human resources to the concept of land infrastructure nationhood.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
the most important thing to me is joining, because once you join and once we know where you live and once we know what you do, you become one of those human resources that we can eventually use when we get more organized. Because right now we're in the mustering stage
Okay.
where you're trying to see how many people in America, Black, actually want something of their own.
Right.
Because once we get a good enough groundswell of energy on that level,
Hmm.
that's all we really need. Because we don't need, there's 50 million Black people approximately in America. We don't need all 50 million of them.
Right.
Because I think Baruti had asked the question, what number would I feel comfortable going to Liberia with
Hmm.
out of 50 million? I said 10,000, 5 to 10,000. I mean, that's
Make sure
not,
you
I
got all
mean,
your stuff.
what is 5 to 10,000
You
out of
always take
50
a new,
million
always see
people? That's
stuff you
nothing.
leave.
Right.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so let me ask you this. So the end result of the BAIO is to,
Establish nationhood in Liberia. Liberia
okay.
as the nation state
Hmm.
for the African diaspora
In America
in America and abroad.
and
People,
abroad. Okay.
everybody that's African that's not on the African continent and don't have a home of their own. Because if you're in Ghana, you have Ghana as your country, you have a Ghanaian government.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Hmm.
not talking about continental Africa, even though continental Africans can be in the BAIO. If you live in those
Hmm.
countries, you can sign up and be in the BAIO, because that would give us boots on the ground in whatever country that we're in, whatever country in Africa we're in.
Hmm.
But the official nation state, it would be like, to make it simple, it would be our Israel.
Gotcha.
Israel is the nation state for Jews,
Hmm.
even though every Jew is not in Israel.
Okay.
There's plenty of Jews in America, plenty of Jews in Europe, all over the place. Not every Jew is in Israel, but Israel is recognized as the nation state for Jewish people. Their
Gotcha.
socioeconomic and political base of operations, their power
Mhm.
base is Israel. I
Okay.
want Liberia to be that for African Americans and African diasporans, because we don't have and the reason, and let me explain this. The reason why we need that is, if you as an African American goes to the continent and you don't have that, then what you
Mhm.
have to do is become a citizen of whatever country you go to,
Right.
which means if you don't have a huge contingent of people just like you coming from that situation, socioeconomically and politically, you're kind of like in the minority and on your own.
Right.
So how much political power do you really wield as an individual if you go to Ghana, if you go to Kenya, if you go to this place and you don't have African Americans that have a presence there? But if
Okay.
you have your own nation state,
Mm-hmm.
that gives you your own government, that gives you your own military, your own economy, your own infrastructure, infrastructure, soft infrastructure. You have socioeconomic and political control over your environment. And ultimately, that's what we want.
Okay.
What we're saying is it's not America. Now, America, like, and I've made this point before, the vast majority of Black people are going to stay in America. But what America would be for those Black people in America that choose to stay would be a satellite community of the nation state in Africa.
Okay.
The best way I can describe it is Chinatowns are in California, Chinatowns are in New York.
Mm-hmm.
What's their base of operation? China.
China. Right.
We can have Liberia towns or Africa towns, whatever you want to call it, everywhere. We can have it in New York. We can have it in all across the country. But
Mm-hmm.
our base of operations is Liberia.
Got it.
And also, this is another thing. If you
So.
notice, if you ever go on eBay,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that a lot of goods and services are sold on eBay from China.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a
Amazon as well.
nation state, you as an entrepreneur can have direct trade with our nation state in Liberia, and we won't tax you or make you pay extra for those goods and services as an outsider because you're our people.
Right.
See, what they do to us is Black people try to get involved in other people's markets. Like, if let's say you have a market that's controlled by Europeans and you
Mm-hmm.
want to participate in that market, they'll let you participate in it, but you'll be paying much more than their people will pay.
Okay.
They charge you extra for participating in their market, which makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that because we're
Yeah.
going to do the exact same fucking thing.
Right.
If you want to participate in our African diaspora or African continental African market, you're going to have to pay more than the African people and the African diaspora people are going to pay.
Okay. Hmm.
It's having a base of operations. See, in America, we don't have any base.
No.
We don't have any power structure.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that um, who are intellectual and are intelligentsia
Mm-hmm.
are miseducating and misrepresenting their constituency, which is
Okay.
us, because they're not telling you what it means to achieve real power.
Can I say something to that real quick, big bro?
Sure.
The idea that when you talk about power, seems like you're talking about sin to Black people, like literally,
Hmm.
is so damaging on us. And when you say that our leaders and our and the intellects in the community, they just keep pressing the same tired vote, pray, be nice. No, no, because what that does is keep socializing generation after generation into thinking like, yeah, this is messed up, but this just the way it is. We have a just the way it is attitude when it comes to power. Therefore, we don't reach for it. We really don't. And then when it's somebody come out of the woods crazy talking about we need power, they get laughed at. They don't get supported because what is this nigga talking about, man? It's just the way it is. We just get our asses whooped, then we get mad, then we protest, and then we be happy for a while because they give us a president or a vice president or something, and then we'll be all right for a while. Then it'll happen again, and that's just the way it is because we don't have any faith in ourselves. We don't have. I don't give a damn how much we talk about our melanin is popping. I don't care how much we talk about how everybody want to be Black. Okay, and what the hell is we doing with it though?
Right.
Like
What
I
are we doing
said,
with it? With our
like I
own.
said, Umoja, it's like that's why I made that comparison. That it's like us collectively as a people is sort of in the same position that Black women have been in. Because I keep
Yeah.
hearing the similar complaint from Black women that I hear that we say on these live streams. Black women is saying, yeah, I have to be in control. I have to be the head, but I don't fucking want to be. They're saying they have to do it because the man hasn't stepped up to the plate and did it. So now they got to do it. And it's similar to what we're saying. We're saying you got all of these working class people who are trying to provide food, clothing, and shelter for themselves and their family, getting together on a Sunday and mapping out socioeconomic and political blueprint for the black nation. Why the fuck are we doing that? Only reason why we're doing it is because the people who's leading us are not doing it. They're not even having this discussion. We are having it, and yet we trying to do this shit in our spare time while we got to take care of everything that normal people have to take care of. That's the sad part.
And nobody's gonna do it if we don't do it ourselves.
Exactly. It just has to be done.
Right.
The people
It is what
listening,
it is.
the people listening here, understand how organized the people are who we under their roof. These people are organized enough to spot the Negro coming who wants to lead his people and say, you know what we're gonna do for you? We're gonna give you $300,000 a year for the rest of your life and send your kids to whatever college that you want them to go to. You just need to shut up.
Right. And
This how
what do
organized they
do?
are. They shut the
shut
fuck
up.
up. They
That's
switch
why I
it up.
said when you voting for these politicians, just understand this. This is just objective. This is not emotional. This is objective. Everybody wants to talk about the squad and AOC and this and that, and everybody's the next savior. Once those people get elected into office, they get $170,000 a year. So they automatically get a six-figure salary. They get Cadillac health care. They can do book tours, speaking arrangements, and they make all kinds of money because of the political position that they have. They are done. It's like a guy who signed a $20 million contract in the NFL. What the fuck does he care if he wins the Super Bowl or not? If he wins it, okay. If I don't, okay. I can go to the club and party with the $20 million that I got at my contract signing. That's what you're dealing with when you're dealing with politicians. They don't work for you. They work for the people that pay them. And once they get in the office and they get comfortable, the sense of urgency for what your situation is goes right out the fucking window. It is, and I don't even demonize them. It's human nature. It's human nature. You put anybody else in that position, make a nigga comfortable, and that's all it. Like I use that as an example. The chick, Cori Bush, was homeless. This chick was sleeping out of a car before she became a politician. Now she's a congressman. She got $170,000 salary, Cadillac healthcare, probably like bought properties and stuff. You think she gonna rock the boat now, so she can be back in the car again?
Well, also favor she doesn't have enough people. You mean you could have 8 people, but it's the same thing. It's similar to here. We can bring like 100 or 200 people, but 200 people is not enough compared to 2,000 or 10,000.
Right.
It's not. You got to have numbers, and that's what we're trying to do. And so to get back to your point, Latasha, that's pretty much what people are doing when they sign up. They believe in the vision and they are able to lend whatever strengths they are to be able to build the process. And like I said, it's continuing to develop. It's not static. So
Right.
Let
And
me
let me
let
ask
me
you,
let me
can
say
I ask
something.
this
Hang on.
question?
Be,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
before you do, because all your questions are so good, straight up. But before
Yeah,
you do,
I'm
this is an
asking for a
important.
reason because a lot of people
This is
don't
an
understand
this
what
is
you
an
guys are doing.
Hold on. Yeah. Go ahead.
right. Let me say this though. Let me say this because this is equally important. Almost every time we talk about the BAIO and what's done, and we always mention that if you have an idea or if you see something that's not done that could be done to make the organization more anything from more organized to more effective, bring that and incorporate that. No one's gonna cuss you out. No one's gonna say, what are you doing? I promise you. But I can't tell you how many times somebody new will come in and they'll start talking about, well, why we ain't doing this? Well, what are y'all doing? What are you doing? What are you doing this? And it's like, if you have the idea Incorporate it. We will love you for it. Let me say
Right.
it again. Do not come somewhere where you're not, where you haven't talked to anybody, and all you start doing is critiquing about what's not there or what's not being done. Because
Right.
all someone's gonna say, they're either gonna get irritated because you're coming in sideways. This is a human reaction. They're gonna get irritated and frustrated, like who you think you are, or they're gonna say, well, why don't you do it?
Right.
So come in with the heart and the spirit of how can I make this thing better? Not
Service.
this is why exactly. What are you gonna if you don't see something done, don't just sit up there and say, why y'all ain't doing this, y'all ain't doing this, y'all ain't got that. How about you do it? Really shut up if you ain't gonna do it. I just want
Right.
to say that on the front end before somebody come in and then start talking about what's not being done when they ain't doing shit.
Right.
Please don't do that. Now go ahead and ask your question, sis. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
Um, ha- um, is this a possibility for maybe in the future? Because as I'm listening to it, because a lot of things I didn't know, that's why I'm asking the questions um, of the purpose and what's expected and the aim and the end goal. Um, I think college kids would be an awesome direction for this too. The ones that are coming out of college that have the degrees and have, because you said you're looking for people that are, have specific talents and gifts and, can lend towards the goal of going to Liberia and doing the service there. Um, as well as, and I know this may sound crazy, but I mean, can the BAIO have a fraternity? Can that be started in the colleges? Can that be something that goes,
Why
because
not?
that can reach a lot of the college kids that are coming out of college needing to understand their culture and to, you understand what I'm saying?
I'll speak on that because I am a college student currently right
Why
now.
not?
So we definitely are reaching out to the college students. I'm reaching out to my college students. So what I usually do is I speak to them about it. I send them videos about it. I send them websites, set a link. Some have actually signed up to it, so that's a good thing. So when it comes to the fraternities,
Hmm.
and all that stuff, it really, that's why for me I like to go through like non means, because sometimes the administrations in some of these colleges be don't like to rock the boat per se, and so you kind of have to hold your tongue on it, because I've been in situations where the administration, or there will be a case where students will get removed because the administration will see their views as quote unquote too extreme, or quote unquote rocking the boat. So what I try to do, or if you can, if you're reaching out to them, is do it through through that way. I just like to say, hey, this is what we're planning on doing. This is, somewhere here we can do it, because it's difficulty in these college campuses, how they be trying to sabotage. I'm not even gonna front.
Then it has to be non-threatening. Then it has to be a branch of the BAIO that is not threatening to the school in the whole. It doesn't have to be threatening to anyone. It doesn't have to, scare anyone or the faculty or the teachers, professors, whatever, the campus. It has to be in a way to where it's a branch of the BAIO, but it benefits the whole.
Hmm.
So there's a way of doing it. It's just, I think that would be an awesome way to branch out and take the BAIO name into those schools, into the colleges as well as the schools.
Well,
It's
something
You
not.
that
know,
we
It's
was
oh yeah.
some
children need a branch of the BAIO, in
absolute,
my opinion.
Absolutely,
absolutely.
I agree with everything you're saying, and it just motivates me to at least address it, at least try to do it,
Well,
and
something that we was working on. I don't know where we at because Ty is he's been having some like family stuff and he been just really busy. But we was working on the webinar. If y'all
Hmm.
remember, we was working on doing a webinar,
hmm
and once we get that really up and going, then the webinar was going to be something we would do monthly. Hell, we could even do a outside of Sunday live stream once a month. That's the webinar,
Okay.
honestly. And literally what we just breaking down the BIO, what we stand for, what we doing. Because like you said, a lot of people don't know. They
Right.
just hear it, and we already, once again, that word, we already programmed to believe one thing. So whenever we hear somebody talking about Africa or something, the first thing that a lot of people will think of is Hotep niggas,
Right.
what they say, toxic masculinity, all of those things. That's the first thing that people will think of without even trying to hear us out, like off top.
Understand. Right.
So some people do need a legit PowerPoint
Mhm.
to to have it broke down to where it's forever broke, right?
Mhm.
So that's what we've been working on, and we wanted to have it one before the end of the year. I don't know where we at with it though. I got to check up on it, but that is something that could be spread to college students. And when you talk about it being like offensive or something like that, they don't got to go around on a soapbox in the middle of campus talking about it. It could
No.
just be the students who have the heart for it, and they
Right.
meet by themselves. They ain't got to advertise it because really don't nobody care, and we don't want to talk to people who don't care.
Right.
Anyway,
You
a
know,
lot of people. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and not even, and maybe I'm saying fraternity, but and that's maybe long term down the road, but just an organization inside the school that the BAIOs, that's their when you're talking about the power centers, or the point of reference in schools, that that can be either a short term or long term goal, that we need to get that the name BAIO and what we're doing into the schools, into the children, as far as children, they can have an organization or a branch of the BAIO that's for them as well. That way they're learning from yay high what the BAIO stands for and what it's about, and that's their goal, you know, going, you know, going forward. Um, and maybe they can bring their parents into it. Children bring their parents into things all the time. I've had my grandkids introduce me to a lot of things I didn't know about, that they found on TikTok, or they found on a lot of African, or just things about our culture that they even introduced me to. So that can be a way that can be, bring more people into what we're doing. So, I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm listening, but I'm just, basically just seeing it broader, like how can I reach more people? That's me. That's
That's
me.
good. That's good. That's needed, man.
I'm trying to reach more people.
Yeah, it's definitely needed. Like we need more people um bringing their energy and bringing in their skills and techniques and thoughts and point of views. It's like we welcome it all. Our
Hmm.
Tasha,
biggest problem is we don't have people that just want to
exactly,
participate. Everybody wants to like do
exactly.
nothing and then say, "Well, how come nothing's happening?" Because you're not doing anything. That's why.
Right. It can't
Let
be
me say
just a
this.
few people.
Let me
Right.
let me say this, Holopan Tasha. Tasha, we
Mhm.
need you
Mhm.
on some real stuff. You don't know how many times we'll sit up there and talk, and somebody will like make the joke of like, man, I really wish it wasn't just a sausage party. Because we have sisters in the group. We have
Right.
strong, and I'm not saying
Mhm.
the customary, she a strong black woman. No, not like that, but we have some strong voice sisters in the
Right.
BAIO, man.
Right.
And but everybody's not a speaker. Everybody don't want to come on lives and everything else. But we legit need a sister who's on board and who has a voice, right?
Mhm.
And not like we need a preacher, but
Mhm.
it'd be nice to, just like you being here right now. It's super dope. Like literally a
Mhm.
sister here asking questions,
Right.
and showing that she down about it. And you ain't gotta be rolling around with fire on your head talking about nationhood, and oh y'all feminists. No, 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 no. Because we're not
Right.
against anybody. That's another thing. We're really not against anybody. We
Right.
just tired of seeing the BS that keeping our people stuck. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So sometimes that frustration comes out, but we so
Mhm.
much worried about getting up out of here, man. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah,
for
I'm
real,
ready
for
to
real.
go.
yeah,
Man, we
and
ain't
and
worried
like I
about what people
said,
here doing.
and like
Yeah.
I said, don't take it for granted that nationhood is just a given.
Mhm.
Don't make that mistake of thinking that, oh, we all agree that we need. No, we don't.
Mhm.
And that's been the biggest source of contention with the BAIO. We come across people pushing back because some people don't believe that we should have that. It's amazing. I don't know how they can come to that conclusion, but there's a lot of people that fight against the whole concept of land infrastructure nationhood. So just joining
Yes.
the BAIO to me is a
Mhm.
major, major accomplishment. If we can get
Right.
people to sign up and say, I'm down with that.
Mhm.
Holla, I do have a really I'm gonna ask you offline. Remind me though, hit me up offline because it's some more inside organizational stuff. It's not no top secret stuff, but
Right,
it's just
right.
something that I was thinking about. If you can remember, because I know I'm a little younger than you, but I forget stuff like I'm a pothead or something.
I hit
Seriously,
you
it's
up. I hit
bad.
you up on the signal.
Yeah. Because it was an idea and a thought that I had. But yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead, John. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Well, I have to go. I just wanted to say goodbye to everybody. My I have to start getting lunch together for my children and grandchildren. Grandma duties calls. But I'm so glad I tuned in today because now I have a better understanding of what's going on and what we're doing. And I'm glad I pulled into this because now I
Listen,
understand what's going on.
Listen, you are more than welcome, and I want to give you a
Hmm.
shout out for your live streams with the BB. I don't remember how many B's in it. I just know it's about big booty, so I'm all for it. And you've been doing a great job, straight up. Most of the times when you're
Thank
doing
you.
them, I'm not available to tap in, but when I can, I do.
Yes, sir.
And you've been doing a good job. Go ahead. I don't know if you already mentioned it, but mention it to the people so some people could log in, check you out.
Yes, it's called Pillow Talk with in the BBSG. It's usually on the weekends. Do it different days during the week, so tune in.
All right,
But
sis.
you guys have a great evening and God bless every one of you and peace and blessings. Talk to you
Love,
later.
love
Bye
you.
bye. Love
Peace,
you too.
Latasha.
Peace.
Hey, you got my
Hey,
other
I'm
my other
I'm late to
sister
the
on
party. I'm
there.
late to the party.
You're right on time. Thank you. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
All right, honey.
Peace, Marty.
Peace, love.
How you doing?
I am
Introduce
super
yourself to the people
fantastic.
that don't know you.
Oh, hi everyone. This is Madi, aka Spirit Lifters. Peace and blessings to the family.
How you doing? How you doing, sis? Always good to hear your voice too.
Always good to hear yours.
Listen, I'm telling you the truth, man. I feel privileged, man, when it's some sisters who down with us who come on and let their voice be heard. I love it.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad. I'm gonna try to keep up with you guys. You guys are a hard bunch to keep up with, but I'm trying.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to bring as much, I think, productive and positive energy into the group as possible, man. On my part, I'm doing my part.
Yes, you are.
Because I know some powerful people, some positive people, people that bring good energy, because that's what we need. We need I'm very proud of the energy of the BAIO.
Yes, and you
I
should. You
mean,
should.
I mean,
I just have a disclaimer.
uh-oh.
Yeah, I have a disclaimer. I am a very passionate African woman living in America. I am the descendants of, I'm an African, Caribbean, Hispanic American who was born and reared in Brooklyn, New York. So I have a lot of fire, but I try to contain myself.
Oh, snap. No, you didn't already let it out. You didn't already let it
I
out. You can't dribble back now and try to go back. You didn't
no, I
already.
do. I contain myself a lot. I really, really, really do. I contain myself. But this is the thing though. I have a lot of love. My passion really comes out in the fact that I have a lot of love for my people, and especially people like you guys, because you each individually and collectively have a cause greater than yourselves. And as long as Mark and I have known each other, that's been the one thing that has bonded us as friends and brothers and sisters for 30 years is because we have a cause greater than ourselves. And it, for me, it's manifested in multiple ways. I put my children in African centered schools. I gave my children powerful names, you know, Asha Upenda Kafele, which means life reawakens, a love worth living for. My son is Ajay Kweku Mensa Keita Edwards, which means messenger of God, genius one, when boy child born on Wednesday. And the whole idea for me was that I wanted my children to walk into a room and know the power that they carried within themselves as children of African descendants of Africans rather. And so I walk with that every day. So that is always my language is the same all the time. And I love all. I meet spirit to spirit. So I am anti-oppression. I am not anti anyone. I'm anti-oppression. And if you represent the oppressor, then I'm anti you. But I'm not anti anyone off the top. You know, I come with a lot of love and a lot of passion. So that's my disclaimer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm the same way.
Damn,
I think
Spirit
it's I
man,
think
Spirit
it's
literally just
better.
came on
Yeah, go
and
ahead,
took
man.
over the whole show. I'm leaving. Ain't no reason for me to be here anymore after that. Good Lord, go ahead, bro. I'm about to just sit down at the feet of my elders and go ahead and soak up some game. That's what I'm about to do.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm on mute. I've been mute for a while, and I'm gonna stay on mute for a while.
You people are beautiful. You are beautiful.
Oh, speaking of which, props to Jabari for this latest BAIO drop on Liberia, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was deep.
I was listening to that on the train and I was like, amening on the train. I know people was probably looking at me like, what the hell is he listening to? But
Yeah, Jabari.
let me see if I can drop the link in case nobody knows what I'm talking about. We just had some new information that was uncovered within Liberia.
I made sure for that video. I usually don't go past 10 minutes, but I was like, it had to be 20 minutes long because I just needed to just
Yeah, you
give
created a
everybody.
copy and paste. That's a copy and paste video. Like anytime somebody has a discussion and they want to bring some negative propaganda about Liberia, just copy and paste.
I still haven't listened to it. I'm about to listen to her right now.
Oh,
I'm almost to my
yo,
yeah. I know, shame on me. I'm
son.
almost to my appointment, but I'm about to start it. I'm about to start it right now and listen to it fully on my way home, so I can chop it up with y'all in the Discord later. Holla, I'm matter of fact, I'm about to hit you first on this Discord. It's so nothing big, but it's just a thought that I'd had, and I love
Hmm.
y'all, and I'm gonna chop it with y'all later on this evening.
All
Okay,
right.
love you more. Peace.
Peace with it.
I just posted the link in the chat. I also put it on the screen. I know you can't click on the screen, but at least you can see it. But yeah, Ronan heard it too. Like, excellent job, man. I mean, the points that you made in that video is no disputes now. It's no disputes. It's nothing that you can say. That's why I love it because I love whenever I do my talking point smash, and actually that's what that was. That was a talking point smash. It was just unofficially one. But that's what you do. You shut down that whole narrative and that whole conversation, and that's what you did in that video. And I hope everybody listened to it. And if you didn't, click on that link in the chat room and check it out because it's definitely bookmark it so that whenever you hear somebody talking shit about Liberia and some nonsensical, we brought our Western ways to the continent nonsense, you can just copy and paste that link in whatever thread you're in or whatever post you hear it in, and that is it. That's it. That answers the question. Shuts everything down. And it wasn't like he didn't do it before. Like we have other content where he did shut it down, but I mean, this just puts the cherry and the whipped cream on top.
All right.
So I hope everybody can see that link there. But what's up, Marty? What's on your mind? Did you hear the
Hey,
topic?
love. No, I didn't. I was driving, and I just said I know that when I saw your link in the group, I
Mhm.
couldn't log on, so I said, well, let me just see if I could catch a little bit of it because I just got back to my neighborhood, but I'm waiting for Asha to come out the store.
Okay. Well, the title
So
was
what was
"Why
it?
Can't the Black Community Get It Together in America?" And we said over and
Okay,
over, we hear that the Black community should get it together. The BAIO responds by asking a simple question: how can a community get it together when we don't control the environment in which we live in?
true,
Let us know what you think. And we just got into it from
true.
there.
Okay. Well, a lot of times we don't even control the household within which we live in.
Hmm.
But so, what were the sentiments? Were there any
Basically,
controversial
no. I mean, basically,
sentiments?
it's what we've talked about before. Like the whole reason why we come to the conclusion that land infrastructure and nationhood is the solution is because the family does not exist in a vacuum. And the
Right,
quality of family that you produce will depend on the socioeconomic and political context that family exists in. So until you can control that, you can't really control how the family operates and behaves. And if you
right.
can't control how the family operates and behaves, you definitely can't control how the individual operates and behaves. So
And
that
we
was the
also
general consensus.
Yeah, and we also talked about the importance of structure as well to add to that. When there's no structure, you really can't get it together because what are we getting it together for and how is it going to function? You can say get it together or let's just come together, but if there's no structure on how to come together, how does that look like? It's not going to work. It's going to crumble because there's no structure to it.
Right. And what
Agreed.
sparked the whole thing was we heard this Judge Joe Brown commentary, and it was the same old tired
Mm,
talking points. Pull your pants up, do better, act right. All of this one-dimensional advice that really doesn't have any nuance and no understanding of why the person's pants is down in the first place. We want people to act right, but we don't want to have control. We don't want to control our environment. So you can't really dictate how this person acts. And in a lot of ways, the way that they act is kind of really conducive to the environment.
hello.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Can you guys
Hello?
hear me?
I hear you now. Can you hear me?
I don't think you can hear.
Uh-oh. Can y'all guys hear me?
I can hear you just fine. I think
Oh,
there's
okay, okay.
a delay in Spirit Lifter.
Yeah. I hope they heard what I just said.
I think she did. We'll give her a minute to come back on, and then if not, we can make her closing remarks. But yeah.
Ronan says, can't get it together because they religiously follow the 10-point dysfunctional checklist. And we know what that is if you read his Substack.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
I can.
Oh, okay. All right. I think I the call was dropped. The
Okay.
last thing I heard was Jabari saying about you can't have that we need structure. So I think I don't want to interrupt. What did I come back in on?
Oh no, nothing. We were done with all our points.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, okay, okay. Well, don't stay on the line for me. My
We
where
like to
I
be
am.
respectful and we like to give people their time.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. You're so kind. For me, I am clear about what the mission is, and now, from my perspective, it's about recruiting people of like minds, and I say that humbly because again, I'm late to the party, so I am okay with being corrected. But recruiting people of like minds. So for me, and also bringing up that very point. So the other day I was on social media, and I'm not really on there often, and I follow all sorts of people. And there was a comedian who was speaking about, just the upset regarding that guy who got off for killing those white people. I won't even say his name. And and my thing was, because I think the guy was like, okay, well, what are we going to do now? And really and truly, there's not the only thing to do is what you beautiful beings are discussing, because we've done everything under the sun. It's been 50 years since the March on Washington, as I discussed with Holip. It's been 50 years since the March on Washington, now 51 years, and we are still in the same position. So there is not, I'm not a, no offense to the marchers, no offense to the activists, and none of that. Okay, I'm not in the business of offending. However, because again, I'm grateful for anyone who has a cause greater than themselves, even if we don't agree on the how. um but at this point, it's just a matter of moving forward with the what that is not new under the sun. And I mean, that is new under the sun, because everything else that we're talking about, even the same, I mean, I can't listen anymore. I cannot listen anymore to, oh, we need to march, oh, we need to, oh, we're upset because there's another this and there's another that, there's another killing, there's another, I can't listen to it. I have a son that's 24. I have tons of nephews, nephew sons. So I myself used to be a woman who would be afraid. No, I was never afraid of the police. I was kind of indignant, scary. So my fella used to tell me when we would get pulled over, do not say a word, because I had this deep anger towards them, and it was visible anytime I interacted with them. But even I, after all that's happened in recent years, has been, even though it wasn't new, but because we have these smartphones, it's more in your face. I myself am like, you know what? When they get behind me, I pull over. And that's what I tell everybody to do. Just pull over when the cops get behind you. So, but I say that to say that I don't want to talk anymore. I don't want to. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired when it comes to the even the responses about all the things that plague us in America. So for me, it's about, okay, we know, the collective of the BAIO, we know what needs to be done. So I'm here for it. I'm here to contribute in whatever way I can towards that, and recruiting people of like minds, that want to get the hell out of here, and hopefully they will be down for Liberia, or at least um open to it. But I'm happy, for people to just, the fact, I'm happy now that there are more people who are moving to Rwanda. Rwanda is the correct way of saying it. And just leaving. I'm a part of a community of people that are in Ghana, in Guinea, and in Rwanda, and seems to be going there in droves. So I would love to talk to those people and turn them on to the BAIO. And again, understanding that anybody that's a member of the BAIO, it's a very, you know it's a specific type of thought process. In my humble opinion, it's a higher vibrational thought process. You are new age thinkers. Not a lot of people are thinking the way you're thinking about Liberia. So I'm not saying it's for everybody, but I also believe that as individuals, we are very powerful beings. So it may not take an entire mile long worth of village people to, or pioneers, to get this thing going, get this train going. It may not. That's just me, and in my small thinking perhaps, but that's where I am when it comes to your question of today. Hello, can you hear me?
Well, that puts the exclamation point on it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that puts the exclamation point on it. I think we should end it right there.
Sounds
nothing,
good.
nothing else needs to be said. All
Yeah.
right, y'all. So it's been a great conversation. We've been on here for like, well, I think about 2 hours. That's pretty good. Yeah, a little over 2 hours, which is cool. And I want
Okay.
to
Well,
thank Latasha. I want to thank Spirit Lifters. I want to thank Jabari, Umoja, Deontay, all the people that participated, all the people in the chat. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your beautiful day.
same to
And
you.
anybody who's coming in, I'm gonna be on the Discord tonight. So I don't think we're gonna do the book review, but we will have the discussion. So I'm gonna be jumping into that later on tonight. So if you want to join me on the Discord, you can. All
Yeah,
right,
I
y'all.
will definitely see you there tonight.
All right. Holler
Okay.
at y'all
Peace and
later.
blessings.
Peace, fam.
Peace.